everybody, welcome today to our presentation, this P6 version 18. Today we're going to be exploring the importance of the scheduling tool used with Oracle Primavera P6 and how you can allocate your resources, how you can monitor and measure the performance of your work being accomplished, and as well the resources in terms of manpower utilizations. So first of all, the tool of Oracle Primavera, right? It is being set for the various sort of industries, okay? In which when you start your project working with it, you need to first of all, right, to go to the admin part, right, and to set up your preferences to the industries you're gonna work. That's a very important step. So you need to go to the admin preferences, right? And then you go down to the industry, right? And select the sort of industry you're gonna be working on. So we might have engineering and construction if you're in that field. If you're in government, aerospace and defense, if you're from software, high tech, manufacturing, others, utilities, oil and gas, you can select the industry you're gonna be working upon. For example, I will go with government organization. I need to select today a project in aerospace engineering, and then I need to go and close. So the second step is that I need to go and create my enterprise project structure. So the enterprise project structure is basically, I'm saying that my project structure is going to be compromising of, let's say, in the field of aerospace engineering, right? And the aerospace engineering, I will be having a sort of resources that will be with me in my enterprise project structure. They're going to be working onto the project. There are two ways in order to create the enterprise, the EPS. So the first way, it's a manual, straightforward, right? You go to your EPS. Second way is that I can go and create it in automatically, right? It really doesn't differ, right? But the auto, it will help you to create your project, right? And it will give you the steps right from the start to end, right? And the manual, right, is that you will be able, right, to readjust as long as you go through a project. I mean, both of them you can do this. So but this is the two-way. It's like a guide that helps you in order to create your project. So let's say I'm going to create, right, an EPS, right, and that's going to be in aerospace engineering. So here I have mechanical engineers, okay, I have ENC, right, engineering construction. So let's say I'm going to create a new site, right, and I'm going to say that I need to add a new one, okay, and that should be at the top, okay. Okay, let me change on that. Okay, so I'm gonna have aerospace engineering, and that's gonna be the ID. So I'm gonna call it Aero 01. I can give any code I require, okay? And I'm gonna call it not mechanical, I'm gonna call it aerospace engineering. And then under the aerospace engineering, right, I'm going to have my project what I'll be working on. I will be having a project director. Now putting it in a higher level, okay, project director, the enterprise project structure is going to be compromised, and average will have project managers. Two ways to add. Either I can right click, okay, on the thing when I select it, add, or I can go directly add from the menu. So I'm going to have as well senior project managers. Okay, limit us with the number of lines, okay, and that's going to be under it. So right here, that's under, that's going to be reporting to that person. And then under that, we do have, let's say, designers, architects, and it's going to be under the senior project manager. And under the senior project management as well, we're going to be having, okay, right, aerospace engineers. So we can say, to specify it, maintenance engineer. And we're going to be having as well aircraft engineer. Electric engineer. And we're going to be having, okay, let's say, okay, the aircraft engineer, I'm going to call it airframe and engines, okay. And we're going to be having, let's say, mechanical technicians. And I'm going to have as well, I'm going to correct this one, right? I'm going to keep it so aircraft engineers, we're talking here about airframe and engines, A&E engineers, airframe and engines, okay. Okay, A&E engineers. You might continue with other positions required. Right, so once I've done the EPS, the next step is that I need to go and define my organization breakdown structure, who's going to be operating with that project. So the organization breakdown structure, so I'm going to create a new one, right? Okay, it's not under here, but it's going to be okay, new OPS, okay. I need to take delete the merge. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna add, we're having aircraft, so we're talking about aircraft in aerospace engineering. And under the aerospace engineering, we're going to be having, okay, that's in aerospace. Okay, and then we're having a, so let me show, so it doesn't make any difference, aeronauticals, we call it, aeronauticals. We have aerospace engineers, we have electric engineers, we have mechanical technicians, okay. So those are being created, I just replaced the ones with them. Right, the responsibilities would comes later on onto the rules we're gonna be setting for them. So the next step is setting the rules for the, for adding the resources. So once we have done the EPS, the OPS is to add the resources itself. So the source of resources I'm going to be having, so I need to add a new resource. Okay, so the adding a new resource, I will call the ID of that resource is going to be, now we have aerospace engineering. Okay, so I'm going to call, let's say, airframe and engines. Okay, so R01. Okay, and R01, it is airframe and engines engineer. Okay, so the question is that a labor? Yes, he's a labor. Next, his price per unit, right? So I'm gonna say, let's say he takes $500, okay, and he works 8 hours, okay. Now right here you can add the maximum unit. Okay, let's say we'll put for 10 hours works max. okay, his contact phone number, you can enter it, and you need to assign a rule for him, okay. So who we're gonna be assigning, we're gonna assign for the airframe and engines, okay. So I might not have a rule for him yet right here, so I need to define it, okay. So I need to say that there will be airframe engines, so I need to go ahead and create now. So I will not add it right now, okay. Select the calendar, existing calendar, okay, or we can create a new calendar, it's up to us, okay. So we have an airframe and engine, he's a labor, okay. I'm gonna add another one, okay, RO2. You can name it or you can put numbers as you like that way, okay. And I'll say that I have electric engineer. These are the resources that are being required, and it does not only include the human resources, but we actually include both of them, material plus the non-labor unit. And let's say I need as well, and since R, it means a resource, okay. So, and the labor and the hours is going to be working, okay. And then I have RO3, which is going to be, let's say, mechanical engineering, okay. Right, so let's say I take these examples, okay, and then I need to go and specify, okay, the rules for each one. Now you might have is that here you can see the resource ID and the resource name, okay. I can add an employee ID if needed, his title, his email, his office, which we have done auto wizard, or you can add it manual. So you have the two options, right? So we do have as well a resource code, but I need to go ahead and create a resource code right for him. And those are the details of the standard units, whether we're going to be, what currency we're going to be using. You can specify the currency of your labor, you're going to pay him and all that. Now you might create a calendar, or you can use, and it's always important to create a new calendar, and that we're going to be explaining it on another session, how to create a personal calendar and to set the resource shifting. Right, the other step we're going to be looking as well today is creating the rules, right, for the sources that we had created them, right. So I need to create, okay, a resource, okay. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to add a new one, okay, and I'm going to call that I have a rule ID, okay, and that's going to be R1. I have a rule, okay, I think there was one created, so let me delete that. Create a new one. Okay, you give me as an R2, okay, that's the number. Okay, so R2 I have, okay, what do I have? Let's say aerospace engineer. Airframe engines, R3. I might add as well electric engineer or engine engineers that specialize in engines. Could be fabricator as well. And I do have as well, let's say, mechanical engineer. Okay, that's enough. Okay, one more thing is that I need to go back for the resources, right? just to make sure one thing. Okay, so we said that we can have airframe engineers can have, but as well I can be having another thing is material, right? So I need to add, let's say, a material as well equipment I'm gonna be having. Okay, and let's say I'm gonna add, let's say, fabrication. Okay, aluminum, let's say aluminum, and that's not going to be a labor, that's going to be a material. Okay, so we need to have that resource, he needs the aluminum to be using it. Okay, and we might add another thought. Okay, let's say if I need to add a non-labor officer, so let's say I'm gonna say, let's say we have a driller. Okay, so that's a non-labor, so we can give an indicator of the iconic non-labor. It is a material or it is a tool going to be used. Right, and as well I can specify for each one of that a unit price as well for it. Okay, if it's a non-labor or it's a material, I can specify for it a price. The next thing is that we're going to be looking onto, right, and that is how we're going to, before we move further, right, and assigning the resources, right, we're going to be looking at the next session how to create a calendar and how to have a resource shifting, right, and defining, adding resource code, right, so that we can allocate the resources. Because if I started to setting assignments right now onto my resources, which will require me to have a code for them, and as you can see it's blank because I have to go and add resources codes to my resources. Okay, so basically we're going to be looking on next time, right, on how to define, how to add a resource codes, right, into our project. Okay, and how to add the project codes and how to add activity codes once we have allocated the activities by looking onto the WPS. So there's a lot to do. If you're interested, take the course. We're always there for you. We can teach you how to tackle the MS Pro, how to use the Primavera, right, as a scheduling tool for any sort of business industries you are entertaining. Thank you very much for your time. It has been a great pleasure. Wish you to see you on other sessions. Thank you very much, Muhammad Zaki.